Suma's POV. So, Jake is training with the attack mages then? Vinegar asked.
We were practicing our healing spells and damaged fruits. Yes, he left to join him a while ago for evasion and shock training, I told her, as I cast a spell on my target. A cut, which had been gaping and letting the juice leak out, began to seal.
How do you believe he will do?
Fine, I believe, but I do not know. I suppose it depends on how hard the instructor makes them train.
Vindica nodded her head in agreement, and the Numi in charge of our final healing qualifications exam landed on the perch next to us.
I see you're faring well as always, Lady Suma, she said. Indeed, ma'am, I replied.
Lady Vindica, you're doing quite well also.
Thank you, ma'am. Can I ask how Von Pack is doing?
Vindica asked. The instructor seemed to find her question funny.
I'm afraid I'm not allowed to give specifics about other candidates, but I can tell you he is doing fine.
Vindica seemed pleased.
Her head feathers raised slightly, and her besmeres glowed just a bit brighter. Anyway, be prepared. A group of combat cadets is coming from their training sessions, and they need to be held, I'm sure. We're expecting them soon. Is it the squadron my familiar was assigned to? I asked. I'm sorry, I don't know which one you're speaking of, but it is Squad 3, she answered. Oh, he was assigned to Squad 5, I said, disappointed that I wasn't going to be able to see him.
If you're worried, why not just talk to him through the private channel you told me about?
Vinegar said, after the instructor flew away.
I considered it, but I don't want to distract him from his training, I explained.
With that, Vinegar and I refocused on our final qualification exams. It was hard to believe that we were so close to the end of our tenure at this camp, and were almost fully fledged healing mages for the army.
Suma, I have a question,
Vinegar said softly.
You are as good a healer as I am, Vinegar. If you do not know something, it is unlikely I know it either.
No, not that. Have you and Jake made your decisions about the wyverns yet?
Yes.
Will you?
We will, I said.
Please be safe,
she sounded, as if she was about to start singing but didn't. I will try.
Thank you.
After our conversation, however brief it was, we didn't talk for the rest of the training. Neither one of us could without fear of singing. Hours passed, and eventually Jake made contact and said that he was done with his attack training for the day. I summoned him to me in the forest outside of camp, and we spent some time resting before we needed to go to familiar training together. While we waited, we talked. How was training? I asked. I think it went pretty good. I learned a lot, I think, but that shock training sure was loud, he said, smiling.
What did you learn? I wondered.
He was already very strong, so I honestly didn't believe there would be much for him to gain from the training. I learned how to cast my spells faster, and a new way to picture my spells.
That will be good to know, I said.
Oh, can I ask you a quick question?
Is it about Vindica and Von Pack? I said jokingly.
No, everyone already knows about them. I wanted to ask if having purple flames was unusual.
Why?
I asked cautiously. Well, when my flames turned purplish-blue during training, everyone seemed kind of freaked out by it, he explained.
I held my feelings in for a moment and asked another question. Jake, when you say purple, was it a bright purple or a dark purple?
It was more of a mix of dark blue and purple, like a northwest purple, not an eminence purple.
I don't know what that means.
More of a dark blue with purple mixed in.
Okay, and why did you make your flames that colour? I asked, trying not to panic for his sake.
Suma, you are starting to kind of freak me out now. What's up?
It has nothing to do with you, but I can certainly understand why your squad mates would have become uncomfortable.
Which is why?
Purple flames were common for the Vikings.
Oh,